Welcome to Brazil, the land of samba, the home of Senna, and the setting for that one really cute Disney animated movie about the blue parrot. My name is Savage from Team Crossroads, and joining me in the commentary booth today are two very fine gentlemen, my good friend Biggles and a new face in Fuzzy Peach. Welcome, guys, and how's it going on that track down there?
Seems to be going great so far. Don't see anybody out on track quite yet. Seems they're still getting situated. But we should see some cars on track quite soon.
Yeah, g'day. Glad to be back down in the pit lane. However, I think they've changed the password because I haven't been able to hack into the to telemetry this evening. But I'm going to work on it. Don't worry. But yeah, great to be with you guys.
The FIA is on to you, Biggles. And that is definitely going to it's going to challenge you a little bit today. But
we seem to have a Ferrari out. Ooh, and right. The McLaren as well.
Now, speaking of Ferraris, before we get too far into the qualifying session, let's remind ourselves of what's going on in the drivers' table at the moment. Now, this is the final round of this season. We are in Brazil on round 12, and the championship picture could not be much more exciting. In first and second position, respectively, we have Freeware and Charles NC, and that is SFS Charles on your screen on board with him right now. And those two drivers are split by only 2 points in the driver standings. Freeware with 127, Charles with 125, and that is going to be the title battle heating up today as both drivers look to bring everything they've got. Now behind them, we have Duck Lovers with 106 points, Macau with 103 with only 3 race starts, all of them victories, and then a very tight battle farther down the road with Henner with 79 points, Chipsy 71, and Ezzy 9time with 62. We're going to have a thriller on our hands, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely.
Now the drivers are shaking themselves out, trying to warm up their tires as best they can before they head out onto their flying lap. And it looks like we have 2 cars currently, Charles and AJ, forgive me, I'm still coming up to speed with these names. Both of those drivers on a set of mediums to start out. So a potential for reverse strategies, but Biggles, tell me, in your experience watching races on this track, how many have you seen where drivers in the top 10 actually elect to try to qualify on mediums and start on that compound?
In Brazil, not very often. Every once in a while, if you have one of those, shall we say, off this planet kind of drivers, then yes, but I would expect...
Whoa! And we have a severe accident! Charles, our championship contender in second place, spins off in Decido do Lago dramatically and absolutely destroys his car. His left front wheel is sitting on top of his nose right now, and he is out of the session.
It's not only Charles, actually. Looking at the instance board, I'm also seeing that we have LOR, MLB Prodigy has also DNF'd with terminal damage. So it seems we already have 2 cars out of this race, and we haven't even gotten past the first 5 minutes of quali.
That's right, and those 2 cars will rejoin us for the race, of course, but that looked like a severe error from Charles there.
Yeah, just a quick little tech there thing. There, Peach, I think you'll just have to stop the streaming that you're doing there at the moment, mate. I think it might be affecting the feed there a little bit. Yeah,
will do.
No problem.
And that is Biggles trackside. Now he's going to have to use just his very own set of eyes and ears to keep an eye out, flying with no radar and no sonar, no telemetry for him today.
Well, actually, yeah, I'm going to jump in the medical car and just go down and check out Paul Charles there and see if he's okay.
That would be a good idea. It looked like a high G impact from him for sure. At the moment, MRL Macau, of course, in the lead in provisional pole with a 107.07 clear of the nearest rival. And he, of course, has proven to us that he can win with wins in Azerbaijan, Austria, Japan, and the previous race in Vietnam. And he is looking to add another one to his collection this race for sure.
It's not only the first, the Charles and what was it again?
MLB
Refresh
Prodigy.
my memory. MLB Prodigy. Those are our two front runners, correct? It's
Freeware
only
and Charles are our front runners.
Alright.
Freeware in fourth at the moment. Yes.
It's only those two who have a tight race coming into this. We also have some others down the leaderboard also fighting for position this race. I believe you have the standings right in front of you. Could you elucidate us on that?
That's right. So we mentioned earlier how it's a tight battle for first and second, as well as third and fourth. In both cases, the drivers 2 points and 3 points apart, respectively. So Duck Lovers and Macau will definitely have an interesting fight between them. Duck Lovers is actually out on track right now, looking to pull into the pits. But then further down the order, we have a tight race between Julian and Squid in 8th and 9th, 53 and 51 points between them, and Yoda close behind with 49. And then God of Hellfire with 44 points, and Of the Hood with 40 in positions 11 and 12. And of course, with these drivers vying for seats in the next season as well, their performance will be crucial. And of course, we'll be keeping an eye on all of the aforementioned drivers today and see how well they do. Squid at the moment exiting the pits. Our Haas driver, who is teammates with the championship, or rather with Freeware, who is currently in the Haas for the day. And he is coming out on a set of, it looks like softs. The only driver left on a medium compound is AJ. We'll never know what kind of pace Charles would have had. Unfortunate to have him out of the session so early. Go ahead, Nichols.
Yeah, I was looking at I'm looking at all at the fans in the grandstands there, and there's just so many tears right now. There's face palming. They're completely upset that their Brazilian driver, Mr. Charles, in the Ferrari, had crashed out so quickly in this race, and he is. He's down in pit lane. He didn't want to talk to me, but he's just saying how stupid he is. He's really upset. He said all week training for nothing. Well, I think he's just given up too early. His qualifying's over, but his race isn't over. And as we all know, you have a half a second advantage per lap being in your home court, shall we say, on your home track. So come on. Well, and you have all those Brazilian fans as well. This is going to be a carnival atmosphere here in Brazil. So don't give up yet. There's still plenty of racing to go.
A fun little bit of trivia here. On this track in Interlagos, the grandstand on the start-finish straight is actually the closest to the tarmac than at any other Formula One venue. So those fans are very, very close. You can hear their cheers. You can hear the clapping and the excitement. So hopefully Charles can pull off an intense comeback drive for the race. But that we will have to wait for another 12 minutes or so, as qualifying has about 10 left, and we're on board with Squid, who is looking to improve on his time of 109.2 into the final sector, down through Mergullo and into Junsao. Very careful to avoid that inside curb, heavy on the outside curb, upshifting just ever so slightly to minimize that wheel spin. 6th gear, 7th gear, going wide around Arquibancadas. And let's see if he can improve that time. No, it does not look like he can. That may have been a second warm-up lap, and he will commence his lap now.
I'm currently on board with Freeware here, right behind Squid, and it seems like he just put in a second fastest lap right behind Macau. So,
very, very fast indeed. A 107.1.
Charles will definitely have to be putting in 110% to try to catch up to Freeware here. With him on provisional second right now, and then with Charles all the way down in 19th, 20th, starting from the pit.
That's right. It might take a safety car. It might take a very good fight through the first couple of corners, or it might take an accident for Freeware. We will find out. Of course, the pressure is on for both drivers to deliver in the final race, and one small mistake around this very, very technical, undulating, topographically heavy Brazilian track is enough, as we saw in qualifying, to catch a driver out and put him out of the race.
Big shout out there to Marco there. on the Twitch feed. Thank you very much for the gift. For the crown there, Hyper Crown. So, yeah. Marco was saying, damn, I had to sub. Your Portuguese is on point, bro. So,
I do not want to be graded on how badly I butchered corner 11. Unfortunately, that is a name, Mergulio. I really need to practice these a little bit better. But the names of the corners around this track are an absolute joy to say, and so much history, of course, packed into these corners. So many drivers' titles decided over the years on this very track in front of the absolute amazing Brazilian fans.
Ooh, and I believe Macau was just about to go on a hot lap, but he has DNF'd on turn 2, I think? Yes, turn 2. So it seems like he'll be cooling down for another lap, or he might be coming in.
Invalidation, that's right. His lap is showing up red here on our screens. Fortunately not DNF'd, and he will have another opportunity. His car still very much so intact, but he will definitely potentially have to put into the pits and put on a new set of tires to start over.
Matthew says, what GP is this? It says Vietnam in the title. So, oh, good call.
Ooh.
Yeah, you're right there, Matthew. Thank you very much for that. We will correct that. Good call.
It's a very interesting looking Vietnam.
Why we love our Twitch show. Yes, it is. About the same temperature, probably, I would have to say. Geographically speaking, but yeah.
But the two
Not
tracks.
as much rice, unfortunately, in Brazil.
That's
A
right.
lot more trees.
That's right. The tracks could not be more different, of course. The circuit in Vietnam being much more a much more rear limited, hard acceleration, hard braking type of track, and very flat, set in the city of Hanoi, of course. But this one here, nothing quite beats the roller coaster that is the Interlagos circuit, with the ups and downs and the banked corners, and very, very great stuff. Many drivers enjoying this course the most of any on the calendar. On board now with God of Hellfire, as he is going to go on his very own hot lap, or potentially into the pits. Into the pits he dives, and he's currently positioned sitting pretty in 5th place, ahead of Ezzy 9 time, and that might boost him in his fight with Yoda and Off the Hood from 11th in the championship standings currently.
When it seems Finn has decided to retire from the session, happy with his times as is. Maybe he's having some troubles clicking with the track at the moment, so he's decided to fight it out on race day instead of during quali.
Now,
I need a little shout out there for Ezzy there, our man. It's usually in the commentary booth, but he's decided to switch to in the cockpit and drive the cars. So he's currently in 7th at the moment, but he's only about just over half a second off the pace, like 6/10 off the pace there. So come on, Ezzy, you've got the whole commentary boys up here supporting you. So you can see if you can improve on his time.
So I've been on board with Macau for a bit now, and I'm wondering he's been running these tires for a good 3-4 laps now, and I'm wondering if he's gonna come into the pits to retire them anytime soon, or if he's gonna, not quite sure what he's doing there.
a very, very good observation. It does look like he has several laps in those tires at the moment, and letting a few cars pass in the middle of Sector 2, going through Pinheirinho right now up to Bico de Pato. And we'll have to see. Surely into the pits he must go this lap. Very, very tight gaps up front at the moment. For first place, we have Macau with a 107.0. Second place, Emerald Freeware, only 300ths behind our leader, also a 107.0. Third place, Duck Lover with a 107.2. Now, Brazil is, of course, infamous for these very, very tight gaps between various drivers, but nonetheless, this is taking it to the extreme, and we're seeing incredible pace, incredibly close pace from many of our drivers here.
Yeah, I believe you also go just a little bit faster. I believe you go about 0.0000001.67% faster because it's an anti-clockwise track, and it also goes with the rotation of the Earth. So you're actually, there you go. So yeah, there you go, kids. Pay attention in physics in class.
The part-time astrophysicist Biggles strikes again. Very, very Impressive knowledge. The Coriolis effect is not to be messed with as we look to have the racing point of Addy Stryker moving very slowly here in the second sector. Not sure if he was... Oh, yep, he has retired from the session. Very unfortunate. And he will not be able to improve past that 15th position. Now, Fuzzy, you've driven this track not even too long ago yourself. So tell me, where do you expect, which corners do you expect the drivers to have the most difficulty in over the course of the race?
It's a good question. With the early on, I definitely see a lot of trouble in the medium speed corners as drivers deal with the effects of dirty air, obviously. And with this track, there's quite a few of those. Another corner I might see some troubles in would be possibly that first corner, especially as we jump off the starting line. And I at least always have. Well, this is me talking. I definitely always tend to have trouble on turn 5 in Pini. Not turn 5. Sorry, in turn 9. Please don't make me say that name.
Pinheirino, that's it. The
there it is.
Drawn out second gear corner. It's a very impressive one. Lots of understeer potential there, but if you can just pin that exit and upshift at the right time, definitely plenty of time to be gained there.
Absolutely. That corner is definitely going to show off the difference in tire strategies right there. Who conserves their tires properly, who does not. Do it well, and you can put a bit more throttle on towards the later leg of the race.
That's right. We will be very eager to see how these tire strategies, as we catch the Red Bull of Ironhammer, letting his teammate through in a very unconventional fashion through the really fast corner 6 Ferradura. But no harm done, as his teammate currently sat in third place, provisionally on the grid, just has a slight twitch of oversteer coming out of Bico de Pato, and he is still up on his personal best, taking Junsao very gingerly and cutting it very close on the inside, rocketing down. Least distance traveled, dipping a wheel off the track and sticking to the left wall as he comes across the line. Improves his time just ever so slightly by only 84 thousandths and unable to crack the front row of Macau and Freeware just for the time being.
Yep, and I just managed to chat to the rain gods at Codemasters. Apparently, I believe there's going to be a clean race that Charles has also backed me up on that one there. However, Matthew just a little safety car prediction call out on the Twitch there, and Matthew's predicted 2 safety cars and cloudy with rain later on. Maybe he knows something we don't know, as we have less than 30 seconds of qualifying now.
As we've seen over the last few weeks, if there is rain, I fully expect it to be just a meter outside the track and keeping the track clear, and sadly not unexciting. Though, given this is the Codemasters game, I fully expect this to be much more exciting than the race was last week.
Absolutely. Hopefully, if there is rain, it comes, but Brazil entertains even in the dry, with plenty of opportunities throughout this lap to have some fantastic battles. We see Macau improve his time, which is currently the provisional pole, into the 106s as he nearly spins in Junsao. Very careful to let through the McLaren of, it looks like Ziploc, who is currently in 15th. Let's see if he can improve at all as he comes across the line. He will not be able to have another lap, and unfortunately, he is down on his personal best by only just about a 10th.
King Kuther, a prediction in there, safety cup lap 14, and 4 drifts, no rain. Here we go. So we have safety cup predictions. Good call. Let's see who gets it spot on. Unfortunately, there's no prizes, but you get the gloating rights, shall we say, the bragging rights. And you'll we will brag you on air as well. We will promote you as being the safety car predicting god.
I believe that's all of the cars on track, having finished their last laps.
And I believe your prediction is correct, as we see Emerald Freeware doing his best Kimi Räikkönen impression and trying to find that that second route in the back of the grandstands he could take. But he will slot up on the grid in second position with Macau in the Renault taking first. Of course, as a reminder, Macau in fourth place in the standings currently. And if he wins today's race and none of Freeware, Charles NC, and Duck Lovers finish in the points, Macau will be able to still win the driver's title. He's still within range, and very, very exciting stuff when the top 4 in the standings are still capable of bringing it to the title fight on the final round of the championship.
Oh, and a shunt there from from Keon via the AI. Yeah, definitely, Mikao definitely has a chance here to come in first. Even though he is only 4th on the leaderboards, as we've seen in Vietnam and Japan, when he was on track with Freeware, he managed to pull out that win. So I'm expecting a lot from him this weekend as well.
Indeed. And it looks like the session is winding down, all cars having completed their laps. So let's just run through the grid order for the upcoming race. Lining up on the front row, we have Macau and Freeware. In 3rd place, Duck Lover. 4th, Henner. In 5th, Ezzy 9-Time representing the Alpha Tori squad. Keon BR in 6th. Sherlock Homeboy in 7th. God of Hellfire in 8th. Zay Bernese, correct me if I misspelled that at all, in 9th place. Ironhammer in 10th. Enoch in 11th, and as soon as this leaderboard comes right back onto our screen, we will wrap that up. I've just been blinded by the loading screen here. Here we go. Julian in the Racing Point in 12th, AJ in 13th. We've seen how well he can race in the Vietnam Grand Prix not too long ago. Schumacher in 14th, Ziploc 15th, Andy Striker 16th, Finn 17th, Squid A in 18th will look to improve, MLB Prodigy in 19th, and of course our championship contender, Charles, in 20th after unfortunately suffering a terrible accident on his very first lap of the qualifying session. There is your grid for the race, and we will be right back with that for you very shortly.
Last race too, remember?
All right, that is correct. This is the last race.
We welcome you back to Brazil, to the Circuit Interlagos, for the final round of the Assists 1 division of Lights Out Racing. And we are just undergoing the final preparations for race start. Qualifying is in the books, and I am still, of course, joined by Biggles and Fuzzy in the commentary booth. And, gentlemen, who do you put your money on for this race? If we had any money, who's it going to? Who's your pick?
Well, I would put all of my Australian dollars on the Australian driver. So there's my pick.
And that is Macau, of course, our favorite, who has already claimed 1 title this season in the 2nd tier league and looks to capitalize here too. We're going to go down to the track as the cars begin their formation lap. Fuzzy, who are you keeping an eye out for this race?
I would say that Macau definitely is looking very strong and looks very promising when it comes to winning this race specifically. But by putting himself in 2nd, Freeware seems to have set himself up perfectly to win the overall championship. And unfortunately, Charles, with his unfortunate turn of events at the start of quali, it seems it'll be quite tough for him to put up a good fight.
Absolutely. Now, if you were Freeware and you have a 2-point lead in the standings and a front row starting position, what is your approach into the first corner? Do you go all in as a true racing driver, as Ayrton Senna, of course, said, if you don't go for a gap that exists, you are not a driver? Or do you hang back? Do you be maybe a little bit more of a pushover just to pretend any incident or any mistakes and just drive a very clean and cautious race?
Well, with himself being on the front row, I do think he can get away with pushing it hard and pushing his way through the front, making sure he stays up front. If he'd been a row or two back, I might have suggested the take a slower approach route, just because Charles is lagging quite far behind him, and his main goal is to remain those crucial 2 points ahead of Charles.
Translation: absolutely send it into Estu Senna on lap 1. We will, of course, keep an eye out on that as the drivers are reaching their starting positions on the grid. Just the last few cars making it around the very fast left-hander of Arquibancadas. And all is nearly set. Just a final Ferrari of Charles making it around that corner now, making sure the leaders lose a lot of temperatures in their tires and gain a lot of that temperature in the engine, just trying to compromise them that little bit more. And we are just about to get ready for the Brazilian Grand Prix. The lights are coming on, and we are off for the race around Interlagos. Our leaders bolting off the grid, and
Mikhail's already fallen off. He's down 11th.
you know, it looks like there's a slight desync in the lobby. Again, we're absolutely plagued with these things, but Macau actually looks to be still in second position. And correct me if I'm wrong here. It looks like Freeware has managed to successfully send it down the inside into Estu Senna and come away with the top spot out of that very treacherous corner. Now Macau retaining second, and a very, very tight field of cars behind him as we see the predicted pit strategy on our screen. Either a soft, hard single stop or a soft, soft medium coming in a close second. We're going to go on board with Kian in the Alfa Romeo, who is absolutely carving his initials into the rear diffuser of Ezzy 9x Alpha Tauri. And will he be able to make a move down the main straight? No DRS just yet, and there's plenty of slipstream on offer from the cars in front, but we will see if he can successfully make that run. He, of course, is under siege from the Renault of Zabernese immediately behind him, and he may have to go defensive into the first corner. Let's see if that Renault driver can launch an attack. Not just yet.
These things are absolutely playing havoc with my with my telemetry here. So far, we've seen quite a few people jump up and down. It feels just like the real races, honestly. Where we see the driver just popping up through the ranks of so many pits.
It looks like we have a racing point of Addy Stryker off of the track at the exit of Descida do Lago, and he drops back, and the Mercedes of MLB Prodigy already completing a pit stop, potentially for some damage here. And we will jump on board with those cars in just a minute as we work our way back to the front, where Kian and Ezzy 9time are still having an almighty battle. It looks like Ezzy 9time just being compromised ever so slightly by the dirty air of the Red Bull in front. Yellow flags through part of Sector 2, but we're going to stay on board as these two drivers are going to give us something to think about into the first corner. Down that long start-finish straight. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? It looks like Kian just losing a little bit of ground, but his overtake is still full, so potentially he's just trying to wear out the driver in front of him and make sure he uses up all of his battery before he tries that move.
Yeah, real quick there on Twitch there. King Kuto was asking there, what's the atmosphere like in the crowd after seeing their hometown hero Charles crash? And I have to say, King Kuto, it's Barnice, and that's in reference to Zoe Barnice there in P7. Good call.
Aha. And Charles himself, we're on board with him now, completing yet another overtake. He started the race on the medium compound tire, switching up that strategy, and despite having a tire disadvantage compared to the car of MRL Finn, in the Alfa Romeo, as there it seems to be a battle behind him as well. Charles is making his way, cutting his way through the field on those medium tires, and that is going to be exactly what he wants out of this race, as it may put him into a much better position later on, especially if he's able to complete the one-stop strategy.
Looking back to the start of the race, it seems we actually had a number of collisions. We had Julian and Enoch colliding with each other, and then we had a four-way collision here between Ironhammer and AJ that also ended up involving Ziploc and MLG Prodigy, and that might be why we saw MLB Prodigy heading to the pits and coming out earlier this race.
That is some great info there from our very own Fuzzy Peach. And we're gonna just stay on board here. There are so many battles, too many to keep track of, but we've got almost a 4-wide in the back of the field here in 17th and 16th as LOR, AJ, and Squid-A. And is that Schumacher in the Ferrari who had an incident in Descida do Lago, and he spun around as well. And unfortunately for him, he is relegated all the way to the back now of the field from his near points position earlier. Jumping back into the top 10 with Ironhammer making a pass on God of Hellfire in a very unlikely place. Exit of Pinheirino, and it just looks like the McLaren driver twitched out the rear end ever so slightly, and that allowed our Red Bull driver here to ascend into 9th place. But God of Hellfire is not done yet, as now he is being passed by the Mercedes of Sherlock Homeboy on the inside of Jun Sao, losing so much time on exit onto the start-finish straight. That's SFS Charles into 12th position, and in front of him, Enoch and Sherlock Homeboy going side by side down the start-finish straight. These three cars very close now. And let's see who comes out on top. The AlphaTauri driver locks up his front just a little bit, and the Mercedes defends against the Ferrari of Charles. As it looks like Ironhammer has had an incident in the first corner in the Estucena, and that is his Red Bull stranded in turn 3 there, and that is the end of the race for him.
Oh, that's completely sad. I was just about to comment about Ironhammer. I thought he absolutely nailed that pass. But unfortunately now, he's put a nail in the coffin of his race because it looks like it's over.
Following along with God of Hellfire here, it seems he came to the pits for an early stop, to put on new tires as well as fix that wing. Looking at it, seems like he had some end plate damage there, so that was most likely the reason why he was unable to keep it tight through the last few turns there. Another thing to note is he was quite exuberant coming out of the pits there. Quite a bit of sliding on the rear end, so it seems like he's raring to go, trying to make up those points.
Great stuff. And of course, so hard to keep it clean around this very, very tight track as we see Sherlock Homeboy and Enoch going nearly side by side in Estucena. The AlphaTauri driver locks up for the second lap in a row, and now Sherlock Homeboy has to fend off the Ferrari of Charles, who was thinking of sticking it down the inside of turn 2, and we'll see if that Ferrari can get a better exit. DRS open for both of these drivers, and he moves to the inside. Will he be able to make the move count into Descida do Lago? And it looks like he does, moving up into 9th position, but is not over yet, as these cars are still very, very close together. And yellow flags there. Now green through turns number 4 and 5. Looking at the time splits for the last few laps, it definitely looks like Macau is stalking Freeware, not letting him get away significantly, and now launching an attack down the start-finish straight. DRS open, overtake on, and he makes a very, very clean move into Estucena, flawless on the brake pedal, and we have a change of leader. Macau and the Renault getting back into first position.
As we start to approach the 6 laps, we should start to see some early pits soon, as some drivers decide to go for the undercut approach. Oh, some hargy-bargy there between MRL, Squid-A, and Schumacher. Sorry, Finn, Schumacher, and Squid-A down in 14th, 15th, and 16th, leaving Schumacher behind a bit now as Squid-A and Finn pull away a bit.
Schumacher trying to make a recovery since his spin in the early laps of the race. Now, Emerald Finn's softs are going to start going off of a cliff, surely sooner rather than later, and we're seeing the same dynamic up front with Julian and Zoe Bernays as the Racing Point driver sporting the medium compound.
Ooh,
looks
Schumacher off again. Oh, and it seems definitely some front wing damage there.
That's right. Both wheels still attached, however, and hopefully he's able to continue. Did you catch if there was any contact between any drivers there?
No. It seems it was just a bit of oversteer, and his rear end just flew out on him.
Great stuff. As we're on board back with Julian and Zoe Bernace, and slight contact between these two drivers going on entry into turn number 3, and looks like no damage done to the cars. The Racing Point wings truly must be armored with something heavy, as that car stays in one piece. But side-by-side moment into Estu Senna and Zoe Bernace, making that Renault just absolutely the widest it can be through the second sector, not allowing the Racing Point through, jumping back with Enoch and Sherlock Homeboy, who are also having their own battle here. The Mercedes driver losing out to Charles in the Ferrari a lap or two ago, and now that Ferrari driver, of course, our second runner in the championship table, now in 8th position, second of the medium runners, crucially, and this is going to be very important as the soft drivers head into the pits. Should there be any safety car or anything of that sort, he's going to benefit. We're back now with Julian, and will he be able to make a move down the inside of the Renault into turn 1 this time? And it looks like he has finally gotten it done and gotten some clear air in 6th position.
Charles is absolutely making me eat my words here. We're not even a third of the way in. He's already pulled himself up into the points. I definitely believe the latter half of this race will be absolutely nerve-wracking for pretty much everyone on track, honestly.
You are very correct, and you can see this this very tight battle between Zoe Bernace and Julian, the Renault driver counter-attacking the Racing Point down Reta Posta with the DRS and coming back into 6th, but these two drivers fighting is allowing Charles to close that gap. He was over 2 seconds back just last lap, and now a second and a half, 1.4, 1.3 seconds. He's closing the gap so quickly, and within mere turns, he'll be right on the back of this pair. And very, very eager to make a move to advance himself that much farther.
It'll be really important for Charles to get ahead of Julian, to put himself up there as the in front of the other medium child drivers, because what that'll do is it'll let him run in free air for a bit once everyone on softs pits. Because looking at it right now, I don't believe there's enough of a delta for Mikau to pit and still come out ahead of Charles.
That is correct. These times are very, very tight, as it looks like Ziploc has retired from the session. Is he on track? No, it looks like he's somewhere in the pits. Might be a mechanical issue on his car, but everything you just mentioned is correct. Charles definitely wants that clean air, and what he really wants, as much as we do not want to wish ill on any drivers, he wants a collision and a safety car to bring his race to life with what is essentially going to be then a free pit stop.
Mm-hmm. Later on in the race, since Charles is going for that medium, it does seem like Charles is going for that medium-soft strategy. He will definitely have the advantage in grip as we empty out the fuel tanks. So that'll be very interesting to see if he'll be able to make up those spots in quick succession as he comes out of the pits.
And we have quite the shocker as Zoe Bernace suffers a disconnect in the middle of his battle with Julian, and that relegates him actually behind Charles in the Ferrari and gives Charles a good run onto the Racing Point. Wing open down Reta Posta, not quite close enough for that move just yet, but he will be thinking about it in the upcoming laps. Now, the strategy of medium-soft is a rather brave one. I would wonder if he's going to go medium hard instead, but we will have to see how this race develops. It's going to be a tough one to predict. We're going to jump really briefly on board with Ezzy Ninetime, who is stalking the Williams of MRL Henner now for quite a few laps. Henner dropping to nearly 6 seconds behind our two leaders, Mikau and Freeware, and this AlphaTauri is going to have unopposed DRS down this main straight. Let's see if he can pull a move off. Now, his overtake is nearly empty. Will he try a move into S2 Senna, or it looks like he will be much more patient and he will try a second attempt than Ernest down.
Ooh,
right
down in
post.
7th, we have Charles overtaking Julian, and he is now the front-running medium tire car. So this will definitely be of great help to him once the top 5 pit.
Oh, not so fast. It looks
no.
like Julian may have a reverse run down that second straight. DRS open. Will he duck down the inside of the Ferrari? Thinks better of it as Charles is demonstrating some very impressive pace.
That's faction almost hacked into the race control, so I'll be able to give you some information soon. As he gets a 3-second time penalty, I'll give you all those time penalty updates very soon.
Excellent.
So too much action on this.
And the two leaders right now in Macau and Freeware, their gap closing very, very significantly over the past 2 laps. For a while there, Macau had Freeware out of his DRS window, but now the Haas driver, as the pit window opens onto the hard strategy, he's demonstrating perhaps just better knack for tire wear as Freeware picks up a 3-second time penalty, just cutting the second apex of S2 Senna just ever so slightly, and that's going to definitely compromise him a little bit throughout this race. Now, please, Biggles, do let us know whenever your brute force punch into the FIA system completes itself, because we would be delighted to hear what kind of penalties our main championship contenders are sporting at the moment.
I certainly will. We actually managed to grab hold of Ironhammer. Just managed to find it. If we have a minute for him to quickly speak about what happened, if he has a second to speak amongst all this action, or he might get interrupted, Ironhammer, but if you've got a second, let us know what happened.
Yeah, so I was just going through S2 Senna. I made up a lot of positions. I was the host, so I had to deal with the bugs, so I lost like 3 positions because I had to wait for everyone to start at the beginning. But I was making all my places back, and then I just lost it onto the curb, swung my car right, and that was it. Just into both wheels off, into the wall. And F2 is the Senna corner, is that what it's called?
That's right, S2 Senna, yep. Very, very slippery, that one, and so unfortunate.
And I had to go 2 laps on my softs because I damaged my wing in the pit, so they were already more worn than everyone else's, so it's probably why it happened. But yeah.
Sorry to hear that. Thank you very much for joining us. And so we'll have to see how it all pans out at the end. But yes.
And we have a safety car out on track, which will enable surely our leaders to get a free stop in. Now, unfortunately for Charles, Macau and Freeware have not pitted yet, so they will take advantage of this free pit stop as well as he will. But this brings him much closer, as it will collapse the field, surely, and enable him to have a straight boxing match with his direct title rival when that safety car resumes. This is exactly how he was hoping it would go down, and that safety car caused by the Ferrari of Schumacher, unfortunately having a race-ending incident in the second sector.
Yeah, how's this looking for Brazilian fans right now? I mean, absolutely amazing, isn't it? Like,
absolutely.
What we had seen before the pits there. Kion in P3.
Macau picking up a 5-second penalty for just getting too overzealous on the brakes into the pit lane.
Oh.
So yeah, as I was saying, Kion in P3 and Charles in P4. So who said this Brazilian crowd does not give this extra half a second boost? As everybody's boxing, as you can see right now.
That's right. Charles is having probably the best recovery race he can at the moment. Everything going according to plan, and he does, in fact, follow Fuzzy Peach's advice and changes to the soft compound tire. And that is in contrast to, of course, Macau and Freeware, who will run on the mediums. Do we think that Charles will be able to take these to the end of the race?
I don't believe he'll be able to take the soft to the end of the race. I believe he might be thinking about a medium, soft, medium, and treating the safety car as just a free pit stop and to adjust his tire compounds, as he's now on level with the front runners. Except now with his softs and with the collapsed field, he'll be well placed to overtake them.
Brilliant stuff, and we will be very eager to see how that unfolds. Charles throwing quite a spanner into the strategies of our frontrunners as they will now be forced to defend, and MRL Henner switching to a hard compound will be particularly compromised on that safety car restart as he struggles to bring those tires up to temperature. Throughout the rest of the field, we have only one other soft runner in Anoc in 12th position, many other cars in the back choosing a set of hards to be able to definitely make it to the end without any issues.
And Enoch has spun too around that corner. So I don't know what can't happen on those softs, but he spun sector 2 and he's lost the position back already. So that's unfortunate for him. He's back up pace, but he's behind Addy there now. So P13. Duck Lovers dives into the pits now from 11th place.
A quick look at the instance, a quick and dirty look at the instance lets me see that we actually have Freeware with his 3-second time penalty, but then you have Macau with his 5-second time penalty. So we've actually seen the two drivers have actually switched spots as far as it comes to penalties with Freeware now an overall 2 seconds in the positive or in the negative, sorry, as compared to Macau. So this will be interesting to see if Freeware will once again extend track limits and put himself a second behind Macau, or if we'll see this 2 seconds continue all the way to the end of the race.
Now, crucially, are there any penalties on the table for our Ferrari driver, SFS Charles?
I am not seeing any penalties whatsoever. And in fact, I'm actually not even seeing many warnings, if at all.
Yeah,
so
like
he's been driving.
Sorry, go ahead. I was just about to say you're doing a very good job there. I managed to hack into the race control as well. I guessed the password. It's Senna. Why not? It's in Brazil. That wasn't too hard. But yeah, you're exactly right. I don't even need to hack in race control. It looks like Fuzz has got all this under control. But go ahead.
Yeah, but Charles is driving like an absolutely immaculate race. I'm not even seeing his name anywhere on here. So it'll be really interesting to see how the penalties of the front runners interact with Charles towards the end of the race as he makes up the distance with his, I'm gonna guess, softs now, and then I would say the front runners might switch to softs for the end of the race, while Charles will be on mediums at that point.
Now, I will interrupt you for just a second as our field has restarted the Brazilian Grand Prix. The safety car back in the pits, and Charles wasting no time and already making up a position on Keon in the Alfa Romeo into the first corner as to Senna, taking advantage of those super, super sticky soft tires, and he is on a run to pick up the position of MRL Henner, who now, of course, has to mind and bide his time on those hard tires. He's going to be at a disadvantage for the time being. Now, Fuzzy, you are new to the commentator booth, so let me introduce you to this thing called the Commentator's Curse, and we will certainly hope that, as MLB Prodigy retires from the sessions following an accident, let us hope that Charles will not indeed be cursed and continue his impressive charge through the field.
Macau scooting off already. Sorry to interrupt you there. 44 people, half a grandstand that we're filling up right now, and they are all familiar with the Commentator's Curse. Yeah, back to you.
As it currently stands, Charles is ahead of Macau and Freeware after penalties are applied.
Another safety car.
Oh my!
Yeah, that was all the way down the back there. I think that's Prodigy. That's Prodigy in the Mercedes. And
Charles in again. He might be going for mediums, having completed his obligation, his 2-tire obligation.
Now that's going to set him very, very far back, and it indeed is the medium compound tire, but I just wonder, could it be too soon? With these safety cars, he could have extended that life of his soft tires much deeper into the race, and this plays directly into the hands of our leaders that are running the mediums at the moment.
Yeah, not quite sure. We've seen Ferrari not having the best of calls before, and I'm looking at the weather report because once again I hacked into the FIA. Don't tell them. In 10 minutes' time, we might have rain. Let's keep that to ourselves.
Here's the question: is that the Brundle rain or the actual rain?
Well, that is definitely brings Charles' strategy into further scrutiny. And that is, we're going to have to see how it plays out. Maybe he knows something we don't. Or maybe he's hoping for yet another safety car, but...
Because this now puts him behind all the hard runners as well, and I don't foresee all these drivers on hards coming in for another pit stop. So these are all people he will absolutely have to overtake in order to get ahead.
Well, remember Charles used to grow up here when he was a kid. He knows this track, and he used to sit there and play just probably like a few corners outside of just around the corner. There's probably even he probably got many friends who live in those apartment buildings you can see around the side there. So yeah, he knows when the weather comes in. So maybe he does know something that we don't know. The local hero.
The sky's looking very bright at the moment, but as the threat of rain looms, we'll definitely have to see how well the drivers are able to adapt. Another approximately 17 laps left in this race. We're just a little over halfway through, and the field, as it currently stands, is Macau, our 4-time race winner this season, running on a set of mediums up front, and Freeware, the championship leader, immediately behind him on another set of mediums. Keon on mediums as well, immediately behind him, and then the next 5 cars running hard tires immediately behind them, as Duck Lover gets a penalty for a collision with Addy Stryker, and we'll have to take a look and see if his car's damaged in any way. It looks like there is no damage on the front of the Red Bull.
They're backing up. The safety car will be in this lap for sure, as they're going through the twisty uphill climb here. Second sector, get the temperature into those tires. Make sure all those carbon fiber bits are attached to the car. If you don't, get the sticky glue, the glue out there. Oh, is running a little wide there. Not sure, but he's ghosting, but he's back. We want to see all these drivers in here. This is going to be exciting. This is the last race too, so this is everything. Everything is up for grabs on the table here as to where you're going to finish in the championship.
So much on the line here. And of course, these drivers are feeling that. They're feeling this pressure as...
Sorry to interrupt you there. Duck Lover's got a stop-go collision for a big collision. Here's a 5-second penalty.
Oh my goodness. Is that the second one of this safety car period, it seems?
Yeah, during safety cars. He's P8, so he's got to serve that 5-second penalty. And he is on the medium tires, fresh medium tires. Anyway, they're getting ready to resume racing.
That's right. The Renault driver backing up the field, the Alfa Romeo of Keon running side by side with the Haas of Freeware, and surely this is go time. The Renault driver pins that pedal to the floor, and the front 3-4 cars are running very, very close to each other. This may have been a slight miscalculation from the Renault driver at the very start, as we see Keon in the Alfa Romeo getting so very close to the back of Freeware's Haas. Let's see if Freeware can make a valiant defense. Down the straight as we have a severe accident between Zay Bernese, who just lost his car into the exit of S2 Senna and picked up Ezzy 9-time in that ensuing collision. We see that driver's car strewn to the outside of the third corner. Severe impact in the back here.
And Charles is absolutely using this incident for his for all it's worth, because he's already jumped himself up to P9.
Absolutely. He's demonstrating incredible racecraft to be able to make it through these cars without suffering one of the many collisions we've seen today, as Emerald Henner dives it down the inside of Addy Stryker, running the medium compound, having much more grip than the Racing Point driver, up into 6th place.
Yeah, how's that not a safety car? That's right. The cars have magically appeared. Really good this time. I think the marshals are getting a little bit better. And it's unfortunately, Ezzy is retired from the race, and there's some damage, obviously, with AJ, with Anok as well, so we're going to expect some pit stops as they come around the final corner.
Indeed, and we have Charles up to 8th as well. And he might be looking for the 7th spot of Addy Stryker here. And it seems he might get it here through turn 1 and 2.
Wow, he just makes it look so easy, as Addy's terrible exit now compromises him to the Mercedes of Sherlock, who just has a little rear end twitch. No DRS for these drivers just yet. After the safety car, but Charles into P7. Great stuff. Great racing from him.
This driver, every time we think he's out, he just shows up and tells us to shut the hell up. Holy cow! I am in awe right now.
Absolute display of racing prowess.
Kion's on a flyer there, sorry to interrupt there. Purple first sector, and he's really closing on Freeway right now in P3. That's Kion, so I'm sure it's only a matter of time and the pace that he's setting right now, as Macau sets the fastest second sector.
That's right, and all those drivers on the same tire compound, which makes his pace that much more menacing. It looks like we have a spinner, and that is Kion. Kion is on the grass, and he loses very, very severely out. Maybe that pace was just a little too much for his tires to handle.
Well, the commentator says, I hope not.
Time and time again, Biggles, your curse is far more powerful than any of ours. Any driver you praise.
From now on, I will not refer to them as their names and just their driver position.
Car number 37 makes a move down the outside of MRL Finn, and will he be able to make it stick into the Shido Dulago? He does. Very neat stuff, and being careful not to run too wide off the track, and Charles is into P5. He is on an absolute charge here, and the two racing points immediately behind them, Julian and Addy Stryker, having their own battle, and Julian moving back up into 7th place.
Oh, I'm sorry I couldn't hear there for a second. All I could hear was the cheers from the Brazilian fans. Charles made that pass. Wow.
Great stuff. And Sherlock Homeboy in the Mercedes now fighting for 8th, 9th position, diving it down the inside of Bico de Pato, and he manages to just steal that spot from the Racing Point driver, Addy having an absolute nightmare of a lap, and Macau setting a fastest lap and pulling well out of the DRS range of Freeware.
And Julian's about to make that past one. Finn, I'll let you guys commentate that one.
Absolutely. Finn making it work down the outside of Estu Senna and absolutely victimizing the Alfa Romeo driver who's running a set of hard tires as Julian is on the softs, and that is Julian up into P6.
And down 11, we have Keon lining up Zaberness. With his mediums, he should have the run on Zaberness in his hards, but we'll have to wait and see.
Very, very difficult to overtake through the second sector on this track, so likely he will have to bide his time and be very careful. However, the car running in front of him is sporting the hard tires, and through these very, very grip-dependent corners, he will definitely struggle as his rival puts the pressure on. The dirty air from the Racing Point of Addy Stryker, of course, not doing him any favors, and we will have to see how well he copes. The exit from Junsao here is key. It defines your speed down the entirety of the back straight. And how well can the Renault driver be able to take that corner? The Racing Point running very, very wide in front of him, compromising his line, potentially, but giving him some crucial slipstream. The car's weaving on the track. Racing Point car moving over to the outside, and it looks like Zabernese makes that pass crucially to put a car between himself and Keon.
Charles is getting some warnings for corner cutting. I think he might be on the border right now, getting another. His first time penalty is also Hender's getting some.
Macau with a 3 second right there.
Oh, I've done it again, haven't I? Even though I didn't mention Macau.
Yeah.
It's always Biggles' fault, no matter which driver he talks about. All well, and of course, Charles will want to see some penalties coming out of the Haas Freeware, as that is his title contender. He cannot sit back. He cannot finish behind his rival. He has to get 2 more points than Freeware in this race to take first. And actually, forgive me, 3 more points, because if they finish tied on points, Freeware will still take the title as he has more second place finishes. These two drivers are tied on wins. Freeware has more second place finishes and will take the crown. Charles needs 3 points on his rival to win it all.
Indeed. Right now, looking at the penalties, we have Macau with a total of 8 seconds in penalties and Freeware with a total of 3. So, it's really interesting.
That's right. Macau has to serve that 5-second penalty as 3 seconds of time penalty, corner cutting, and then a 5-second that he got. So that's going to really destroy his race right now, unless there's another safety car.
We've got a yellow flag in Sector 2, and it looks like the Williams of AJ is out of the race here.
Oh, no. Not another retirement.
Will this be that safety car? Or
I'm sure Macau's hoping for it, but he's going to be close to the 3rd sector, but I doubt it. No, they've already... Oh, they are super quick at returning that car. Actually, AJ's returned back to the pits, and I think he's still on track. No, he's not. Yeah. Gee, they're damn quick now removing those cars.
They might be using portals to...
Free pit stop for Macau then, so...
On board now with Sherlock Homeboy, who is sizing up the AlphaTauri of Emerald Finn for 7th position, as Emerald Finn has just a twitch of oversteer that sends him onto the green stuff on exit from Junsao. and that compromises his run down the straight and enables Zoe Bernace to also overtake the Alfa Romeo driver, who then dives into the pits. It looks like he has had absolutely enough of those hard tires, as it looks like he even clips the
He damages
barrier.
his wing, yeah.
Yep, that's right.
He's
Let's hope that the team can react in time and have, yes, they did, within a moment's notice. A new front wing on order, and very, very exciting stuff. More exciting than surely he has hoped for, and Zoe Bernace now making his way past Sherlock Homeboy, making it 2 for the price of 1 in only about 4 corners and 2 straights.
Yeah, lots of action. I do have Ezzy down the pit lane, but we still have to wait as Sherlock Homeboy's lining up for a pass day on Zay.
That's right, very, very close through the second sector here, trying not to let that dirty air from the front-running car disturb his own path of travel. And now onto the very fast curve of turn number 11. I dare not pronounce that corner name again for fear of backlash. And over Jun Sao, much easier to pronounce here. And these cars are full throttle down the rest of the straight, taking a wider line than you see in qualifying to allow those tires to cool just ever so slightly. DRS open, overtake on, barely any battery left for the Mercedes driver down the outside. Who's going to be braver on the brakes? They dive it into S2 Senna, slight lockup, and it just looks like Sherlock getting forced a little towards the outside. That move not paying off for the Mercedes driver.
14 laps on the hards, so it's hard, but he's going to try to come back. He's building energy.
And keeping just a slight eye out on the progress of Charles, he is slowly closing onto the Williams of Emerald Henner, but just ever so slightly, a couple of tenths every lap. And let's just take a look and see if he has a tire advantage. He does not. Their tires are the same age.
Indeed.
And it looks like Aonok has damaged. He's absolutely destroyed his car on exit from Deshida du Lago.
Safety car, but Macau's boss missed the pits and freeways, ducked in.
Crucially.
So Duck Lover gets to duck in. And Hannah and Charles. So Macau's just missed out. That's cost him. He needs that 5-second penalty, which is the best time in the safety car. So we're going to see an absolutely exciting.
And absolutely everybody pitting here.
Charles putting on a set of brand new softs by the looks of it, and maybe saving that soft tire has paid off for him. It's almost like this guy can see the future.
Oh, Charles, you're coming out in 4th, I think. Had a duck lever, unless my is wrong again, unfortunately.
It looks like they've lost a few positions to a few other back-running cars, but those cars are running either old mediums or hards by the looks of it. Yeah, so Charles slotting in behind a racing point here of Addy Stryker.
Yeah, Addy Stryker with 12 laps on those hards of his, and then Macau also has 12 laps on his mediums. And as you said, he unfortunately missed that pit window. So it'll be interesting to see if he'll be able to nurse his medium, if he'll decide to nurse his mediums or pit for that pit and lose those positions.
You know what's interesting is it looks like the safety car is still waiting to pick up the leader. So Macau will still get his free pit stop as he dives into the pits.
Yeah, he's boxing now. Macau's in the box. And he has time. He's going to be a free pit stop. Even though he has 5 seconds on top, he's 22 seconds ahead of Freeware. This has worked out brilliantly for the Australian driver.
The Renault team waiting for those 5 seconds to touch that car, and now they're on the clock, putting on a new set of softs, and it just looks like Macau might make it out in front of Freeware, or will he? The two cars going virtually side by side. Macau in the pit exit, Freeware on the track, and it looks like the Haas driver has overtaken Macau.
Yep, there we go. And I've managed to catch Ezzy. Well, we have a quick second to think about what's going on in this exciting race here. Do you want to have a chat to us about what happened with your race there, sir?
Yeah, I was pretty pleased with where I was at. I think I was P4 or P5 behind Zay, and I was pretty confident I could get past him after the safety car restart and fight for a podium. But we were both on hard tires, and he, out of turn 1, turn 2, and turn 3, got a bit on the curb with those cold hards because they're impossible to warm up after under the safety car, and he just lost the rear, spun out in the middle of the road, and I went left, and he also went left, and I hoped he would ghost, but it didn't work out, so I hit the wing, broke my wing and spun around and actually ended up DNFing against the right-hand side wall. So just really unlucky and kind of dumb on my part. I should have slowed down a bit more and gone to the right. That's the second time this season that someone spun out in front of me and I've guessed the wrong direction of how the where their car will go. So
That
it's
initial
what it is.
impact looked absolutely brutal. How's your neck feeling after those G-forces?
I might need to see a chiropractor or get a massage. Just in my cockpit here at home, it was pretty intense. So I'm glad I wasn't actually in the car myself. But
That's force
yeah,
feedback for you, right?
Fanatic really gets you the good force feedback, even on your neck.
Brilliant stuff. Well, we hope you make a full recovery, and our condolences for that very unfortunate incident.
Yep. Thank you guys for the time, and good luck for the rest of the race.
Thank you, Ezzy, the legend, the man himself, the man of this league. So it's unfortunate for him, but yes, now the safety car is leading again. So yeah, I guess you guys have to run through all this order at the moment now and see how this is going to affect the championship.
That's right, and it looks like, at the moment, Freeware running in first will take that championship if Charles can't fight through all of these cars between the two of them and get within 3 seconds of the Haas driver. Now, crucially, Freeware's teammate, Squid is actually slotted third on the track right now. Now, he's a lap behind, but he is between Freeware and Charles, and that may throw some unexpected spice into this battle as well. A little bit further behind, Henner, running a really good race, looks like he's going to pull clear of Chipsy in their own title fight as well. Now, as we round these last couple of corners here, we're going to expect that safety car to pull back into the pits.
Indeed, also of note, to those of you who might have missed it, is that Freeware and Macau are now on pace with each other when it comes to penalties, with both of them holding overall 3-second penalty. So it will be decided on the track for those two.
You are very correct. Both drivers warming up their tires very aggressively on this uphill climb to Arquibancadas.
Yeah, so just real quick, Julian has a stop-go 5-second penalty from that collision. So they're off.
Oh my goodness, and Freeware getting an absolute rocket start against his rival, and Charles is involved in a three-way battle with the lapped car, that being forced aside by the blue flags, but he finds himself under attack by Duck Lovers, and he concedes significantly into that first corner, losing out a lot of positions and suffering a collision with Julian immediately behind him. Charles getting overtaken into Estucena and suffering.
Emerald Henner in third with a 5-second penalty for ignoring the safety car.
That is not going to do any wonders for his race, but who is absolutely loving this restart is Duck Lover, who has ascended past the Ferrari of Charles and now looking to make a run on Henner. The leaders, meanwhile, remaining unchanged, and Freeware pulling already 1.3 seconds clear of his nearest rival. Meanwhile, in the middle of the pack, we've got tight racing between Keon and Sherlock Homeboy, as well as Zoe Bernace and Addie Stryker. Both of these pairs running basically nose to rear wing through the second sector here.
Yeah, I do apologize before about the weather conditions. Unfortunately, my hack half worked. It's going to be completely dry to the end of the race, as you can see. Even though my team had lied to me, but yes.
You were so close. And it looks like Keon completes the pass on Sherlock Homeboy.
Henner touches the grass a bit on off turn one, so Charles is going to have Duck Lover is going to have a great run on him right now.
That's right, the two cars side by side down Reta Posta, and it looks like the Red Bull just manages to sneak in front before the corner. The Williams so very, very close behind him now, but not much he can do into Ferradura and Laranjinha.
Yeah, God of Hellfire is boxed in the McLaren. They're running P12. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Maybe he had a penalty or whatever to serve. That's the third pit stop. Third visit to the pit lane. I'm sure that was a little bit, one or two more than he would like. But so much action on track as Hennes is right over the back right now of Duck Lovers.
You have Charles just one position behind, just calmly watching this discourse between the two and wondering when one of them is going to trip up, allowing him to sail right on by.
Given the situation in the standings, I doubt there's any calm in the cockpit of that Ferrari, and now he looks to make a move down onto the Williams driver as the latter seems to have lost out on exit from Junsao. That Ferrari very, very close to that Safina sponsor decal on the back of Henner's rear wing, and DRS now open. The Williams, of course, staying very close to Duck Lover's Red Bull. And Charles is going to want to get a hurry up. He's going to want to either make it past these two cars or have him pin that throttle a little harder as the leaders are just sneaking away with every single corner.
Yeah, well, Mikhail's catching Freeware. He wants that. Mikhail wants to win the championship, and he wants to win the championship on the top step of the podium. But this battle between P4, 5, and 6 almost of Julian catching them, and Kion's right on the back too of Julian. So we're going to have a great sprint to the end here with 4 laps to go.
Absolutely. Macau gaining astronomically onto Freeware over these last couple of corners. And of course, Henner still very, very close behind Duck Lover. What a battle this is going to be. Charles all over the back of the Williams. And now with DRS, will he be able to make a move? Will he have enough overtakes saved up? DRS open on both cars. Let's see how that run into the first corner looks like. That Williams has so much straight line speed and just keeping ahead of the Ferrari driver. Duck Lover definitely throwing a wrench into Charles's plans and not allowing the Ferrari to have a free run onto what would otherwise be a defenseless car.
Yeah, it rained in 10 minutes apparently from King Kuther, but unfortunately 10 minutes is not going to be enough. As we're on lap 34, 36, we literally only have 8,000 meters left of track for these drivers to do something about their current standings.
Ooh, Henner with another 3-second time penalty. That'll this very unfortunate for him. Then that'll definitely put him out of contention, for now at least, for that podium.
Charles dipping and diving and ducking every which way, trying to find any extra track he can to maximize his corner exit speed, dipping a wheel onto the green stuff on entry to Junsao. That Williams just ever so squiggly on exit. That sunlight filtering through the camera on the Ferrari as Charles surely will look to make a move going around the outside, and he has no overtake left. He has no speed to try to make this move stick, and he will have to dive it down the inside into S2 Senna, making contact with the Williams not once, just twice, and their positions remaining unchanged.
And Mikhail picks up a 3-second time penalty. So his race with Freeware is over. If Freeware could just maintain P1, even if he let Mikhail through right now, he has to keep within 3 seconds. But yes, that was a little bit of a dive from Charles. Obviously, you can hear all the Brazilian crowd, maybe over the engine. Maybe he managed to accidentally forget to gear down or gear up because he couldn't even hear himself with all these Brazilians going absolutely fanatic right now. They want him to move up to P4. They want him to get past Henners. What can he do?
And not much he can do with so little battery left. His only hope right now is for Macau and Freeware to have an incident, but these drivers racing each other hard, but racing each other clean for the win on track. And crucially, both of them almost 4 seconds clear of the Red Bull of Duck Lover. And Duck Lover himself a second clear of the Williams of Henner. Is Charles going to be able to make a run now? The Williams' DRS is closed, covering the inside line. The Ferrari forced to the outside, braking very, very late into S2 Senna, leaving his rival enough room and making it stick for the second apex. The Williams has a much better run on the outside of turn 3, however, and both cars go down the back straight, colliding, nearly sending the Ferrari into the wall. DRS open for both cars, and Charles still can't get through and keep that 4th position.
And we missed it. Macau is taking first place from Freeware on track, at least.
Yeah, but Freeware will take it for sure because Macau has 6 seconds of penalties and Freeware has 3. But the biggest battles you can see right here with Charles, they're on equal. Henners and Charles have 3 seconds time penalties unless anybody has a 5-second time penalty. And how's this going to affect the championship with Charles?
That is not going to be enough for him, unfortunately, and time is running out with only a few corners left. We're going to go on board with our leaders now. Macau will cross that finish line on track first, but if our estimates with the penalties are correct, it will be Freeware winning the Brazilian Grand Prix and securing surely his position in the standings. Duck Lover gets a 2nd position, and Charles, unfortunately with his penalty, down in P5, losing out to Keon at the line as well.
Keon, after his spill early on, halfway through the race, has managed to make up quite a few positions there. pulling himself all the way up into fourth.
Yep, that's no time penalties, as well as Duck Lovers finished P2 with the no time penalties. Look at that, beating Macau. So obviously that's a big difference there, the no time penalties, but that's very good for the Brazilian drivers finishing P4 and P5. So the home, even though they weren't in the top steps, it's still a recovery drive, especially from Charles there. But obviously Macau done what he needed to do to secure the championship, but Freeware takes the top step and gets to taste the Swedish champagne.
Incredible, incredible stuff from all of our drivers today. We will want to congratulate Freeware on the amazing performance and on the win in the Drivers' Championship for the Assist 1 tier of Lights Out Racing. He's on the podium, and he is sending that trophy skyward. Well deserved for an amazing drive, some amazing battles today as well. And not much left to say. He left it all out on track, and he gets to take the big trophy home.
I'm absolutely exhausted. What an exciting race. This is like a 2000. We've had the rain, which, mind you, I predicted absolutely incorrectly. They run through the order there.
That's right. After the end of the race, the order is as follows. Emerald Freeware taking first position and Duck Lover taking second with his lack of penalties. Emery Macau demoted to third on the podium. Keon in fourth. Charles in fifth. Emerald Henner in 6th, Julian 7th, Addie Stryker 8th, Zoe Bernace in 9th after an absolutely fiery race, and Emerald Finn in the Alfa Romeo in 10th position, rounding out the points for us here. An immense number of penalties here for all of our drivers, proving once again, if you could just keep that nose clean, you will get what you deserve, and that they did. And that wraps up our race, and we will jump right back here with some drivers' interviews in just a few moments.
Just have.
And we are live once again in the post-race debriefing room. We've got quite a few drivers joining us here. And Biggles, let's take it away.
Well, what can I say? The championship leader, the Australian. Well, we'll leave you a little later to the end there, sir. But we have we have Duck Lovers there. So Duck Lovers, how was your race there, sir?
It went okay. I had an incident with who was it? Henners. He spun me. So that ruined me a bit. I got a little bit of wing damage. Wasn't too bad. Safety car came out pretty much perfect for me. I put on one of the mediums. I was going to go for that strategy and going out of the pits. I hate the pit exit. Damaged my wing. I had the pit again, and then I got an absolute stupid penalty because of who was it? I don't know, someone just drifted over and hit me during safety car, got a 5-second penalty, and then had to pit again for softs, tried to serve that, lost some positions, had a good comeback, and I guess Mikau just had too many penalties and I got second place.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that was good. I mean, obviously you had that 5-second penalty cost you a little bit, but you did not have any corner cutting penalties, and that was the key. And that obviously at the end, with Macau having 6 seconds, time penalties moved you up into the second spot on the podium. But yeah, congratulations. We have Zay. I'm going to get it correctly this time. Yeah, Zay. Who?
Hey, mate.
I won't call you Zoe anymore. Apologies.
Thank you.
So,
Throughout the entire race,
P9
every time you mention me, yeah, Zoe's going in for the Okay, well,
Well, I get you mixed up with Zoe Barnes from House of Cards because you're Zay Banise.
just
So
call me
it's-
Zay for now on.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
Anyway,
Zay.
the other Australian in the top 10, you finished ninth in the Renault. So how was your race?
Well, it was a crazy one, to say the least. I had a few different dramas throughout the race. Good battles at the start with Julian. Got to give him respect. He definitely did some clean racing with me. Was heaps of fun. When I was ending my first stint, safety car came out, put on hard tires. The first restart was fine, but when the safety car came out again, my tires were so cold because it was basically safety car, go, half a lap, safety car. So my tires were cold for so long, and I think they were like at 60 degrees at that point. So I tried to go, went on the accelerator as much as I thought I could, and it just took me sideways, and I ruined a lot of people's races.
Ouch! It happens. Yeah, you did 13 laps too on those hard tires, and then you switched over to the softs, which you must have felt like a brand new person on those soft tires after that. If you can imagine. But yeah.
Well, the safety car came out again. Had to talk with my engineer. They agreed the softs would take me to the end of the race, so we put them on and then just went on a full sprint until the end.
Okay, good call, Jeff. Once again, thank you very much. Good to. And then over to Charles Leclerc, shall we say? Charles, Brazilian. What an absolute drive! We were outstanding. And you were even chatting to me in the Discord saying you thought it was over. It was like, no, I can't do anything now. I've just crashed out. You put so much effort in to this race. However, you started 20th on the grid, very last, but those Brazilian fans were fanatical. We could hear it. It was louder than it was Carnivals in Rio. That's for sure at this track. And you managed to get your Ferrari all the way up into P5, just behind your teammate. Actually, just managed to edge you towards the end because he had no penalties. How was that race for you?
Yeah, the race was good, but yeah, I lost the championship. I don't know what to say. I think I made a good strategy, and yeah, I can get finish P5, but it's not enough to me. We come back stronger our next season. Yeah, let's see what will happen.
Certainly comeback was the key word for you, because driving all the way through the field, surviving all those early collisions and so forth, timing your strategy well. Yeah, that's the best probably that you could probably achieve obviously from that, but you had a lot of fast pace, a lot of overtakes, a lot of entertainment. And once again, the in your home track, the fans were ecstatic. You missed out in the championship, sure, but you put up a great fight to get there. So at the end of the day, might be a little bit disappointed, but you must be very happy with the result for this race.
Yes.
Now,
Thank
Charles,
you.
before you run away here, we in the commentary booth would actually love to hear a little bit about your strategy this race. You were running on the mediums to start, and then about halfway through the race under the first safety car, you switched to softs. What made you think of actually stopping again immediately after that at the very next safety car and switching to mediums until the end? Could you just walk us through that decision a little bit?
What? I don't understand. Can you repeat? I don't understand.
Sorry. So you were running at first on the medium tire for the first stint of the race. And then when the safety car came out, you switched to the soft tires. And then about 2 laps after that, you switched back to the mediums. And we were just very curious as to what kind of inspired that decision.
Oh, I know. I mean, I put softy, but I probably will need stop again because it's impossible make I think 20 laps or something like that with softs. And when I see the safety car, I think that's my chance to try make something in the race better to get a podium, maybe the P1, something like that.
Yeah. Well, it was good. I mean, it was a call. You had to take a risk and a gamble, and whether it paid off or paid not, that's up for all the race analysis team to sit there and crunch those numbers. Still, you finished in P5, so congratulations, sir.
Thank you, man.
Fuzzy, you have any questions there? Before we go over to, I think Finn there. Finn.
No, just congratulations on that race. Quite early on the race, I was quite skeptical as to how many positions you'd make up, but you absolutely made me eat my words there. So absolutely great job there.
Thank you, mate. Really thanks.
Looking forward to see you next season.
See you
Thank
next
you.
season, guys. See you later.
I don't know how to, and Savage might know how to say goodbye in Portuguese, but
Nope.
Oh, say goodbye in Brazilian. Okay, tchau, galera.
Ciao, galera, Charles.
Galera.
Ciao, galera.
Wonderful race,
See you
yeah.
later, guys.
Cool. So yeah, just quickly there, we'll go to Finn, the British driver there, finishing P10. I hope you are British. That's what your flag is showing. Alfa Romeo up 17th position from the grid and finishing in the points in P10. Your race there, sir?
It went okay at the start. I managed to gain quite a few positions within about 20 laps. I was up into, I believe it was P5, but I was one of the few drivers that didn't pit under the first two safety cars. So my tyres were a bit worn down by the time all the soft runners and the
16
medium
laps
runners
on the
got
hards. Yes.
Yeah. So I didn't stand much chance of holding him back. I held him back for as long as possible. I did cause Charles quite a lot of time that could have impacted what happened with wheel by quite a lot of the race there, until I eventually just had to come into the pits and I went onto the medium compound until the final safety car, where I went onto the softs. And then luckily near the end of the race, was it Sherlock Homeboy who retired? So luckily that put me into P10. The only bad thing, he retired straight in front of me and I almost went into the back of him. So it was narrow avoiding him there.
Yeah, well, apart from finishing 10th and getting a point to finish the championship, you also get 12 seconds time penalties. So overall, I believe you also get the time penalty trophy award for the most time penalties. So you still get something at the end of the day. That's good. Take it away.
That's good with me.
Thank you, sir. Looking forward to the next season if you're going to race. I hope so.
Yeah, right.
How do you say goodbye in English?
Bugger off.
That'll do.
That's how we say it in Australia, anyway. So, but anyway, thanks, Finn. Great job.
All right, thank you.
Yep, we will go over to Freeware, who is our race winner, however, because we will have to leave the championship leader to the last. But Freeware, wow, racing again. Well, I expect that from you, so please go ahead.
Yeah, I think you messed a bit up because basically I won the championship here.
Oh, you
Right.
did?
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, my apologies. I'm the word. Come
Yeah,
on, Sam.
Mick is in the other division.
I'm not the lead
So-
commentator.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to point out. Yeah, the race went like pretty normal, just sitting behind Mick for like the entirety of the race. The safety cars came out in the right at the right time. Like the first one was perfect for the stop to the mediums. I was planning a one stop, but then the second safety car came out right before I crossed the pit entry. So I actually was able to
cut
pit.
you off at that. We were actually watching there, and Macau was leading you, and he just missed the time period for that, obviously, because the safety car announcement that came, and Macau had to just pass it, and you were the first to go in there, so you caught that really well.
Yeah, and then I think Mick was able to pass the safety car before it exited the pits, so he had still the advantage to do another lap with the Delta and not catching the safety car. So he only lost one position, I think, in the safety car. It was a pretty solid race, I think, and yeah.
Awesome. Fuzzy, Savage, anything to say with Mr. German, the championship winner, obviously, at the end of the day?
Well, I'd love to hear a little bit of what's going through your mind now. Surely you're no stranger to winning. But how does it feel to stand on the very top step at the very end of this 12-round championship and take that trophy home?
I was actually pretty worried about Charles because I think he put very much practice into this race. He was, I think, 2 points behind me in the championship after last race. When I saw him in P5 after a few laps, although he started last, I was pretty worried that he's gonna get me on the better strategy. But yeah, went all right with the safety cars, saved my ass, and pretty good feeling.
Yep, you're one of the only drivers too to take the 2 pit stops there, and make that work. You had the 3-second time penalty as well, which is pretty much expected around this track. But anyway, what can I say? You had that Schumacher spirit in you, being a German driver, so it's to be expected. And we know that if we know freeware, we know freeware is fast. So you're going to be back racing again next season. We would look forward to seeing you again at the front runners.
No, actually not.
No,
I withdrew because it's pretty late for me. It's like 2:30 a.m.
Oh yeah, that's
I'm racing here.
Sure. Yeah.
And yeah, so I'll drop next season, maybe for the season after.
Well, I hope you can pop in and join us in the commentary box or something every once in a while if you can. If you're deciding to stay up a little late, it'd be good to hear from you, especially about your. Obviously, good to hear from the Assist One champion to commentate about some of the drivers putting in their qualifying performance, things like that. You can give them some tips even.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward.
Well, thank you very much, sir. Any Fuzzy? Do you have anything to say for our?
Oh, is he? How do you say goodbye in German?
Auf Wiedersehen.
Oh,
Auf Wiedersehen.
That's going to be a run-on joke now.
Yep.
Very good job. Thank you very much. So, congratulations on the trophy. You might need to buy another house to store those trophies that you're building up pretty quickly. So, that's not a bad thing at the end of the day. And then I guess over to Macau there, the Aussie. What can we say, Macau? You had a better race than what you had before in the other league and the other assist thing, I believe, as well. In Vietnam, obviously Brazil suits you a lot better than Vietnam. How was your race?
No, the race went fairly well. Had a little bit of issue off the start, which wasn't ideal. I had the wrong engine mode and the wrong setting, so Freero was able to jump me off the start. But just thankful had the pace to stay with him. Eventually make the pass a few laps later, and just tried to run my own race. Have to clean up a few things before the Assist 2 race around Brazil, because I shouldn't be getting that many time penalties, but it is what it is. The safety cars definitely threw a spanner in the works, but just try to stay composed, stay focused, and unfortunately wasn't able to pull the 6-second gap to Duck Lovers in the end to secure P2, but I'll take the P3. It was a good result for the team, and I'm quite happy with the pace that I had.
Good job. Yeah, it's still a podium, still champagne, still a shoey. Unfortunately, well, the Codemasters will build that into the game at some point. And yeah, were you a little worried when at that point you just passed the pit lane entrance, and then that safety car had come out, and you realized everybody behind you has the opportunity to box, so you stayed out on track. But I believe you still managed to. You boxed on that lap because you hadn't caught the safety car at that point. So by the time you caught the safety car, you still had a bit of a lead there, advantage, I believe, over Freeware. And so you boxed, and I think you managed to come out ahead of Freeware on that first safety car, if I'm not mistaken. Or you lost out.
The first safety car, everyone pit.
I'm in the second one.
At the end of the soft stint, so everyone pit onto whether it was mediums or hards. For the second safety car, yeah, it was a bit unfortunate with the timing of it being called. I was going to preemptively go into the pits, but I wasn't 100% sure whether it would be a safety car, just simply because how consistent Cody's is with deploying the safety car and the virtual safety car. It can be very inconsistent.
Yeah.
But no,
14 laps to it at that point on the medium. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, getting the tires to the end wasn't an issue, but it was more trying to get out ahead of the safety car, so that all the drivers behind still had to adhere to the delta pace. And it was quite close between the safety car and I, but I know it's a long pit lane, so the safety car has a while to get around, and very fortunate that I was able to serve the 5 seconds that I received in that box. Came out in P2 with a few laps to go, so that gave me a good shot at a good result, which I'm thankful for.
Excellent, sir. Thank you. Good on. Aussie, Aussie, Aussie. Very proud. You also got the fastest lap, so you take that point away with you. And thank you, sir.
No worries.
Have a good evening. Looking forward to seeing you again sometime in the future, no doubt. So that's it for the interviews. I think we'll leave it over to Ezzy Nine Time, who's created this fantastic Lights Out Racing League and this fantastic season, and Savage, obviously, and Fuzzy there to end up this season. If you guys would like to.
Absolutely. And Ezzy, let's start with you. You were in the grinder today, so how did it feel from there? And just tell us a little bit about this past season and how much of a knuckle-biting, knuckle-busting finale we've just had.
It's been something else. I think we started this league in March, and it's crazy to see how far we've come since then. I want to thank all the drivers who raced throughout the season. Not all of them were able to race in the final race here today in Brazil, but for various reasons. But I want to thank all of them for that. Today didn't go my way, unfortunately. I think I was on for a good result, but those are the things that happen in races, and that's part of what brings you back every week. Is you have your good, exciting races, but then you have those frustrating ones, and you always strive to do better. So I want to thank you guys as well for your hard work stepping in here to provide your excellent commentary. I know everyone watching the stream enjoyed that, and we'll look forward to having most of these drivers and also you guys in season 2 starting up next week. So I hope everyone is ready for that. I think it's going to be great. We're having some exciting new things coming your way, and our way. And the kind of new revamped divisions that we have should provide even more exciting racing over the next 12 weeks.
That's right. We will be so excited to return. This was the very first stream where I've had my voice pop on the microphone because of how much excitement and how much yelling and how much just exclamation there was throughout this race, and of course throughout the entire season, setting up such a phenomenal closing Grand Prix. Now, we've just watched an absolute clinic on wheel-to-wheel racing, as well as just phenomenal driving. Biggles, Fuzzy, what are your takeaways? Of course, we have Freeware coming away with the Drivers' Championship, but who else stood out to you in this Grand Prix?
I would have to say Duck Lovers came out of nowhere. As far as I remember, we didn't really have our eye on him too much, but just through steady driving, he managed to pull himself up there into high up on the points list.
Yeah, good call there on Duck. But obviously, my man of the day would have to be Mr. Charles, because he had everything on the line here. He had to make or break. He had to finish P1. He had to give absolutely everything, and he did. But unfortunately, that qualifying session will haunt him for a little while. But as we know, pick yourself up, and then you try again, and he will. So I'm looking forward to the exciting racing we're going to have from these drivers once again next season. And a big shout out there to Savage, who came in and started commentating these races, and is absolutely just like most of the time I'm sitting here laughing at how absolutely funny and very, very professional that you do that. And Ezzy as well. Ezzy's just a legend right now, shall we say? He's not even in that category. He's out of reach. Not only running this league, managing it, dealing with everything he has to deal with, but also commentating, and on top of it, racing. So he's a man of bazillions of talents, and without him, we wouldn't have Lights Out Racing. So hats off to you guys. Thank you very much.
A big round of applause for Ezzy and Biggles. From a world-class commentator like yourself, those words mean quite a lot. Thank you so much. Now, we will be back sooner than you may expect on September 15th with the first race of Season 2 of Division 1 in Mexico. So be on the lookout for that. We're not going anywhere, and we will keep bringing you guys some phenomenal racing action from Lights Out Racing. It has been an absolute pleasure to join all of you at home for this Brazilian Grand Prix and for this first season. And keep going as fast as you can. We will see you in the next one.